Hey guys, it's Nono. I'm back with another video. Today I said I was going to talk about the red pill content creators or red pill channels in general and their well-deserved downfall and what lesson it can teach you. Uh, so I will start with some famous red pill content creators, the likes of the two F boys, Myron and Walter from the Fresh and Fit podcast, so not fresh and and fit, unfresh and unfit, unfriendly podcast, effed up and found out. I saw it on Abba and Preach, by the way. And Pearl Davis, just pearly things, the not so pearly oyster. And a little bit, even though they're not as bad, but to me, they're just the same. It's a whatever podcast also. And again, I'd love to say that I'm giving my point of view, a neutral viewpoint, just a young black woman from France, passionate about American culture and maybe Korean culture behind it. But that's another story. I digress. And I'd love to say, that I'm just a woman living in modern society, taking what's good about modern society and agreeing with some conservative talking points. And that's important to talk about because, today, agreeing with conservatives, you usually get tons of backlash. And I'm like, sometimes they're right. But I think that many conservatives just ruined their image with red pill people. I'm just going to call them that way. Well, first of all, I'm going to start with feminism and modern feminism. Sure, I do not agree with every single thing going on in the modern feminism. The whole, I hate men. All men are trash. I don't agree. I think that we women need men. I'm not planning on getting married for now, but I need men in my life. I hope I get some protective men who is financially stable, who loves me, who I can marry with, I hope I can build something with it. I want to build a generational wealth with my future husband. So I don't agree with modern feminism talking points, but even though I don't consider myself to be a feminist, I do not agree with, people mostly from the right wing rejecting every single thing about feminism. We can at least agree that, the first and second waves of feminism really helped a lot. Because if you look at modern conservatives today, especially young conservative women, feminism did help. Because as a woman, you get to be what you want to be, who you want to be. And to me, I think that's just beautiful. Because while I'm not opposed to people getting married at a younger age and, having their families at a younger age, I don't think that was my path. I did not see myself doing that. And when I'm ready, I'll talk about it. I'll tell you why I could not do that. And I can't picture myself doing this. So I don't agree with every single thing, with modern feminism. But I will admit that feminism, a little bit of that, some of that really helped women. Because if it wasn't important, it was 100% bad, well, wouldn't have to fight. Women wouldn't have to fight to be what they are today. So that is something that I think red pill people are wrong, regarding, the feminism talking points. There are certain things that I agree with, and there are certain things I don't agree with. The second thing is the whole, having sex. I'm saying sex because I don't want YouTube to go after me, but see, it's about having sex with your partner. Oh, have sex with your man whenever he wants to, and I'm like, yeah, that's something you're supposed to do. And there's so much contradictions because they're like, oh, this is something, yes, it is your duty as a wife or husband. And I'm like, dude, if someone to stay celibate until marriage, they can go for it. But then these people will tell you, oh, it does not make sense. Oh, get married younger, have kids at a younger age, and all. And that's Pearly. That's the Pearl Davis girl. It does not make sense because when you get pregnant out of wedlock, oh, you should just keep your baby. And I'm like, I'm not necessarily pro, abortion, but I'm not against it. And to act like, oh, you should keep the baby no matter what. Are you sure? Even in the case of RAPE, even in the case of a young girl being pregnant at, I don't know, maybe 11-year-old, 11-year-olds, you're pregnant and you say, oh, just keep the baby. No, that it does not make sense. And I think the SEX conversation is up to, the two people in a relationship. It's not up to you guys. That's my opinion. The other point is washing dishes. No, I don't think it's only a woman thing. I think in modern society, you can wash the dishes and do other chores and have your man share with you. Because I believe that even several years ago, this was happening. A real man will agree to share with the woman. Now, of course, men and women are different on many things, but again, we're equally different. Listen to that. We're equally different. So we're different, but we can, just talk about things and, do things the same. Again, you're free to do whatever you want. Some will just go the traditional way and just have, the man only does this, the woman only does that. Some will say, you know what, sometimes we'll just do different things. Sometimes we can do the same. The other point, the other instance that I have is red pill people manipulating what I would call good faith conservatives and twisting some of their truthful words for red pill's narrative. They're using some of their good talking points, traditional things that are necessary, and they're twisting them. And some people who love to be, in a traditional marriage, especially women who are looking for a traditional marriage, listening to them and being like, you know what? I don't want a conservative man. I don't want conservative values. They're hateful. They're all hateful. And I'm like, no, not everything conservative is hateful. Even I've seen that, and I'm not even a conservative. If you know about my points of view and their points of view, if you compare them, I don't agree with every single thing conservative, but I will admit that some of their talking points, they're not all BS. They're not all bad. But these people are giving all conservatives a bad reputation, even the good ones. And that is when my other instance comes out, which is conservatives' mistakes, giving red pills channels views, discrediting their image and platforms, going on their platforms, talking on their platforms, using their platforms as instances for their talking points, and making some independent people like me, or even some left-leaning people who do agree with some conservative points, and making them think, oh, you know what, I can't watch any conservative channels because they all have their talk. They all have those hateful views. They go on these bizarre podcasts, and that is when the consequences come out. The consequences being conservatives who have their own platforms, or may I call them independent conservatives, turning their backs on red pills channels, distancing from even other conservatives and Republicans, may I say, mainstream channels, mainstream TV shows from Republicans because of that. I think conservative people, the ones who have good intentions, the ones who are willing to discuss with some left-leaning channels, left-leaning people, should distance themselves from red pills channels. Because I can tell you, as a young woman who, may I say, has sided a lot with the left wing and is now agreeing with some of the right wing's talking points, not all, but some of them, and remaining independent. I think it's really discrediting some of the good faith conservatives when I see them going on those podcasts, just like such as the Fresh and Fit podcast, the Whatever podcast, Pearl Davis podcast, and teaching some of their point of views and being like, you know what? Oh, you're giving views to those people who are just using manipulating your talking points and use them to hide how hateful they are. And most of these red pill people, you guys know, they're not even conservatives. They're not actual traditional people. Most of them really, really, really hate women. They despise women. They got rejected they got rejected by a lot of women, maybe when they were younger, and now they just found a way to to make money, or they're using a channel to just mumble some conservative traditional talking points and be like, you know what, this is what you need to do, so they can get more attention from very conservative men, right-leaning conservative men. And and the funny part is that in their real lives, on their daily lives, they don't even practice what they preach. The biggest example is, well, Pearl Davis, for instance. Oh, get married younger. You have to endure ABUSE. You have to endure cheating. I can say the word cheating, at least. Look at her. She's in her mid-20s. I'm in my mid-20s. I think I'm a little older than Pearl Davis, but look at her. She's like she looks like she's over 30 years old, a frustrated woman. Funny thing is, she's from a very well-off family, but look at her, frustrated. She's in her mid-20s. She's not married. She's single, making money on YouTube. So she's a career-driven woman. Makes no sense. What she's saying makes no sense. Because some of the conservative talking points, you can't apply all of them nowadays. Not everyone will do that. And she herself does not do that. And that is why some good faith conservatives are turning on them, because of people like her. And people like the two guys from Fresh and Fit. And now you have the Whatever podcast. Especially with that one guy who was on the Whatever podcast who implied that women should endure abuse. And that is when their downfall started. And they deserve it, because these people, they just despise women. They're just using some talking points from, conservatives who just believe in some traditional values, but they're not necessarily hateful. And they're just, twisting them and using and be like, oh, you know what? Oh, yeah. Oh, men should be like that. Women should be like that. But the funny part is that real men with traditional values, who you don't necessarily see on these podcasts, who are just living their lives out of social media, they don't even agree with them. They wouldn't want a woman like Pearl Davis. That's the funny part. Now, can we just say that red pill viewpoints are just the same as, modern, some of the negative things from modern society, just the same, how the same way we're talking about modern feminism and, the cons, the negative side of, modern society. Well, red pill's just the same. Frustrated people from the right wing who are just playing the same game as, negative people from the left wing. They're the same to me. They're twins. And this is why you should remain neutral. Like I said, that is where the importance of remaining neutral comes from. That is when I learned to stay neutral, because I used to support left-wing people, the left wing. I would just say the left wing. I used to support the left wing. Then since the 2020 Panini, I call it the Panini effect. I will say Panini because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the word. This is the PANDEMIC. You know what was happening in 2020. It ended last year in 2022. You know what I'm talking about. And that is when I started to see, you know what? Some conservatives are telling the truth sometimes. I'm not a conservative. Again, I'm not a conservative. But they were so right on so many things. And then these people from the red pill, they came out and they started to twist every single thing. And now they're discrediting, the good faith conservatives. The conservatives that even as a left-leaning person you can talk to, have some disagreements, but right disagreements, positive disagreements. And that is why I encourage people to remain neutral, observing things from a distance, picking the best from political views so you can deal with politics regardless of political party, political preference. That is how I stand, and that is why I stated, in my first videos, why I don't really pick sides regarding politics. Maybe I'm a little old school on that, but I think, except if you want to discuss politics, if your channel revolves around politics, if it does not revolve around politics, you should not really give your opinions on that. And I'm not saying that you cannot talk about it, but you shouldn't really state which sides you're on. That's my personal opinion. And yeah, I think that is my conclusion regarding the well-deserved downfall of red pill content creators. Do I agree with every single thing regarding the left-wing politics? No. But these people, they're ruining the right wing. Now, the right wing in itself, they have a lot of issues, but these people, they just made it worse. I don't agree with every single thing in the regarding the conservatives, but I will admit that the party has become really diverse today. And I was born in the mid 90s, and I miss the old days where we would discuss things, our opinions, in a small circle of friends, even though